Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our men's advanced Bible study night, the 18th of July, 2025. Okay, I'll be dealing with the writings of Abraham tonight. We'll break that down and we'll break some of it down, and then we'll talk about it, read some of it, then talk about it, and connect it to a lot of the things that we already know from the book of Enoch and other writings. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, check out, examine, get the meat out. Uh, these videos will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior and our Redeemer and our Deliverer, the Lord of Hosts. Okay. With that being said, this channel was created to aid and assist all Hebrews who are waking up in these last days to their true identity. Shalom and welcome. Welcome to our Men's Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms. We have some current events, some need to know information. Then we'll open it up for some Q&A. And then we'll go into our topic for discussion, which is dealing with the situation that's going on with the expats and they having no internet, no flights. The flight's been canceled, and it's a global lockdown going on. Okay, so with that being said, we'll deal with our scripture reading, which I said earlier. We'll be reading from the writings of Abraham. Okay, it's a book that is reference to Abraham, and it's got history in it that Abraham foretold that was taken out of the scriptures. We want to read it, okay? And then we'll pick a scripture, break it down, and then we'll close out, okay? This moment of silence for the Lord of hosts. All that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in the last days. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and your wisdom. And we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people. Oh Lord, you're giving us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers, and you, oh Lord, have directed us to who you are and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. When we come this day, doubtless that you will appear and that you will gather your nation from among these wicked Gentiles. Okay? Peace be unto you. Okay, we're going to read the Psalms.
Shalom, yes, sir. Tonight, Brother Leonard, I'm going to read Psalms 108. And it says, verse 1, "O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise, even with my glory. Awake, sultry and heart. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing praises unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great above the heavens, and thy truth reaches unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O God, above the heavens, and thy glory is above all the earth, that thy beloved may be delivered. Save with thy right hand and answer me. God hath spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Sechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Over Philistia will I triumph. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Will not thou, O God, who hast cast us off? O will not thou, O God, go forth with our hosts? Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly, for he is that tread down our enemies. For he is that tread down our enemies. And that is Psalms 108, verses 1 through 13. Shalom.
Okay, you got any comments on that?
Well, Brother Leonard, I keep saying this because it stuck out it always sticks out to me anytime I see about the tender mercies or him being merciful or anything. It always remind me of Enoch 40, where it clearly says that Michael is the merciful and long suffering. So in verse 4, just when it says, "For your mercy is great above the heavens, and your truth reaches onto the clouds." Because I know Michael receives the prayers too to take the
Okay,
Yahweh.
exactly. Right. Okay, I can go for that. Okay. Yeah, so with that being said, we'll go to our current events. We'll play them and then we'll break them down. Okay. Okay. Hmm.
The new One Africa Constitution, what they didn't tell you. Breaking, the new One Africa Constitution, what they didn't tell you. This is not just news. This is the blueprint for Africa's next 100 years. Part 1, Africa's old map, a continent divided by systems. Africa today is a beautiful mess. On one hand, we have powerful ideas about unity, progress, and Pan-Africanism. On the other, 54 countries running on over 5 different systems of governance, some fully democratic, others military-led, some monarchies, and a few states that, well, just freestyle. Let's break this down. Democracies, by claim. About 31 African countries currently call themselves democracies, places like Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Zambia, and Botswana. Authoritarian military governments, countries like Egypt, Chad, Mali, Sudan, Burkina Faso, all have experienced coups or military-run governments in the past 5 years. Monarchies, Morocco, Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, and Lesotho still operate under kingships, with varying levels of parliamentary involvement.
Now that I'm a mom, things are different.
Hybrid regimes. Some nations, like Uganda, Cameroon, and Zimbabwe, hold elections, but power remains deeply centralized under one man or one party. Fragile states, Somalia, Libya, and parts of the Sahel Belt still struggle with decentralized power, warlordism, and contested sovereignty. Now here's the issue. How do you write a single constitution for such diversity? That's the exact question that has haunted the African Union Legal Advisory Body for 15 years, until now. Part 2, the AU's secret brainstorm sessions. Since 2022, deep inside AU chambers, a select group of legal scholars, military strategists, historians, and political theorists from 29 African nations have been meeting every 3 months under a private program called Project Mshikamano, Kiswahili for Unity. These weren't politicians. These were the brightest African minds. People like Dr. Wanjiku Mboya, a Kenyan constitutional expert who helped draft the 2010 Kenya Constitution. General Umoja, the retired AU peace commander turned civilian governance advocate. Professor Tsegai Meles, the Ethiopian philosopher who asked, can Africa be one while its people live under 100 legal cages? And guess what? They came up with a living constitution. Yes, living, not rigid, not Western, but African, rooted in Ubuntu, grounded in sovereignty, and made to evolve with time. Part 3, so what is the One Africa Constitution? At its core, this new constitution launching February 26, 2026 will establish the One Africa government as a supranational entity, divide Africa into regional states, not to erase countries, but to streamline unity, introduce One Africa citizenship, One Africa passport, and one continental parliament. Maintain existing local governments, but integrate them under continental law on major issues: trade, corruption, elections, defense, and human rights. It's like how the European Union works, but with more fire. Part 4, a mixed system of governance built for Africa. So how will it work if we have monarchies and democracies in one continent? Simple. The new constitution embraces democracy as the default political system for continental matters. Presidents, parliaments, and civil society all participate. Cultural autonomy. Nations like Morocco and Eswatini can still maintain their monarchies internally. Council of Sovereigns, a new AU body where monarchs, chiefs, and spiritual leaders can sit alongside presidents, purely in advisory form. It's inclusive governance, not one size fits all. Debate, deep debate. Some countries are resisting. Some elites are terrified. Some presidents are already plotting how to block it quietly while smiling in AU meetings. Because the truth is, this constitution removes corruption as a system. It empowers the people, not just the state. And once it passes, the days of stealing with impunity and hiding behind sovereign immunity. Part 7, key rights guaranteed under the new constitution. 1, right to continental movement. Any African can live, work, and build a life in any member country. 2, right to access AU legal defense. If your government violates your rights, you can appeal to AU courts. 3, right to vote in One Africa elections, regardless of where you live on the continent. 4, right to information. Governments will be required to publish real-time budget data accessible by all citizens. Part 8, funny but real moments from the drafting committee. In one early session, a king from Central Africa asked, "So, if I join this One Africa, do I still get to be king?" The answer? Yes, but you'll now answer to the people. A Nigerian MP shouted during a meeting, "How can one ID work across Africa? Even my wife has 3 names and 2 passports." A Zimbabwean youth rep said, "If my president refuses, I'll just use the new constitution to sue him." Laughter echoed across the committee, but the truth hit hard. Part 9, reactions from African citizens. In Lagos, I don't care if it's 1 passport or 10. Just let me open a business in Rwanda without begging immigration. In Nairobi, I want to marry my girlfriend in Kinshasa and bring her to Kenya without papers. This constitution better allow that. In Accra, we've had laws written by colonizers for 100 years. It's time for our laws, made by us, for us. In Johannesburg.
Okay. So we see right here, like I was saying, this thing is moving fast, super fast. Any comments on that? They saying January of next year, February next year, but yeah, I think it's gonna happen before that. And one of the reasons being is this next video. Listen what they already pretty much did seal the deal that Abraham Tory is going to be the first president of this One Africa thing. So let's listen to what he had to say about what his first, more than likely it's going to be his first move. Okay.
I greet you with deep respect and solidarity. Across oceans and borders, our shared history and our
talking to us, diaspora.
Shared struggle connect us in ways no chain, no colonizer, no system of oppression could ever break. Though we have walked different paths, the roots beneath our feet were watered by the same pain and by the same strength. You have endured centuries of injustice, fought in every field of human endeavor to rise above it and still carry the weight of a society that too often seeks to erase your contributions, your truth, and your dignity. And yet you continue to rise with resilience, with brilliance, with defiance. Here in Africa, we see you, not through the distorted lens of media or the narrow words of politicians, but through the eyes of family. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. Your struggles echo in our bones, just as ours call out to you. We live in a world shaped by the legacy of slavery, colonialism, and the exploitation of Black lives for profit. But that world is beginning to tremble. Something new is being born, and you are part of it.
Yeah.
Your voice, your vision, your fight matter more than ever. When you stand tall in your streets, in your schools, in your art, you are striking blows, not just for justice in America, but for liberation everywhere. Africa is awakening. We are reclaiming our resources, our sovereignty, our pride. We no longer bow.
So he said that Africa is reclaiming its resources. You know, we their resources. That's where they got from. That's where they got us from. We the biggest resource it is, besides all the minerals, but they took us out. And so we can see right there where he headed. If he the first president, guess what? Gonna be the first thing you're gonna do? Gonna recall us. Okay.
We no longer wait for permission, and we look to you, not for charity, but for unity. It is time to rebuild the bridge between us, not made of chains, but of purpose.
Check it out.
Let us speak directly, black to black. The world has taught us to fear each other, to mistrust, to forget. But the future demands that we remember. Remember the drum beats. Remember the wisdom passed in silence. Remember that when we link arms across continents, no empire can silence us. You are needed here, not as visitors, but as partners. Come with your knowledge, your courage, your ideas. Help us build something that belongs to us, truly. Not for the camera, not for the applause, but for our children's freedom. Africa is not a place of poverty. It is a place of wealth stolen, but we are learning how to take it back. You are powerful beyond measure. Don't wait for others to validate your worth. You come from a people who made pyramids and kingdoms long before America was born. That greatness never left you. It is in your walk, your speech, your music, your very presence. So rise, Black America, not just for yourselves, but for all of us. The time has come to stop asking. Now we build together. From the continent to the diaspora, the message is simple. We are one, and we are ready. Black people in America and Africa are united by a common history of oppression and resistance. Despite different experiences, the roots of their struggles are the same. The pain that lives in the memories of African ancestors who were stolen from their lands is the same pain that echoes through generations of Black Americans who were born into chains and raised under systems designed to break them. Though the ocean separates the land where the chains were forged and the land where they were tightened, that ocean cannot wash away the blood ties that link the two sides of the Black world.
Okay, any comments on that? What you think?
Shalom, brother. It's crazy. It's crazy to see the that they made it seem. You remember in 2019, they made it seem like Dr. Ericana was gonna be the one to kind of lead this, but she was just an ambassador for it, as I'm seeing, and Torre gonna actually carry it out because he's saying all the things that she was saying. It's just she didn't have that actual position.
Right. So that's a process. So it's like she was like the first witness, and then now they got him. He's second witness. And like I said, people don't really understand that most of these Negroes over here lost, and then they think America they homeland. So it's like, double dose. They're reiterating the fact that we need to leave, and then now with the Project 2025, they're cutting the rug out from under us, and then they already done put it in your head to leave here. So that's what's happening. Even right now, as we speak, there's a lot of people leaving here. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna. I got another video tied to that. But yeah, it's already happening. If you zeroed in on prophecy and scripture, it's already happening. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? And so I was talking.
My bad, brother. I just have a question. In my gut, Tory, he's a 6-day. He's a Hamite, right? He's not an Israelite, is he?
Nah, I wouldn't think so. But like I said, this part of their plan. But
okay.
But the Lord of Hosts is behind it.
Right. So he's using them to bring us back.
Right, like he did with Cyrus and like he did with Nebuchadnezzar.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm just connecting dots. Okay, thank you.
Right, they're being used. Okay, they think they're doing something else, but they're being used. Okay, and then I was talking about how with these Edomites, these Zionists, their plan is to bring the whole world to its knees. And you hear all these so-called insiders. They're always talking to these let me see what they call them, economists and all these financiers and everything. They're always saying it's gonna come a day when the Americans gonna own nothing and be happy. So they're saying that for a reason. And like I was saying, their objective is to bring the whole world to its knees, and then after the dust clears, Israel, the Israelis going to be ruling the world. They're going to be the #1 country in the world. And this is one of the examples. It just happened. Let me play this. Let me get it. We got 2 videos on this. Check it out. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this. It just happened. Okay.
Traders, in this
For the crypto world, Congress passed the first ever federal legislation to regulate stablecoins. This is a massive victory for digital assets without a doubt, and it is also a decisive step toward integrating crypto into mainstream finance. The bill was fully backed by Republicans, and it was originally championed, as you may know, by President Trump himself. Now, the bill is officially called the Genius Act. Yeah, so first we had the big, beautiful bill, and now we have the Genius Act. So the Genius Act creates a regulatory framework for stable coins, those dollar-pegged digital tokens that move across platforms 24/7. And with that, a $265 billion market of crypto is suddenly primed for a massive expansion, with projections pointing to a $3.7 trillion market by the end of this decade. So in my view, when you hear about this bill, you have to understand one thing. The president's considerable personal investments and the personal investments of his family into cryptocurrency, it made many policymakers question his true motives when pushing the bill through. Now, take a look. According to Politico, more than 4 months after he took the Oval Office, President Donald Trump's business empire is quickly establishing itself as a new crypto empire. Trump Media and Technology Group, whose stock is majority owned by Trump, unveiled plans to raise $2.5 billion to finance a Bitcoin buying spree. Bloomberg here is reporting Trump Jr. invests in social media firm building crypto hoard. Forbes recently published this interesting article titled, Donald Trump is cashing in on crypto over the last 9 months. Beginning slightly before the election, he has stirred up new ventures, new coins, and new noise. Celebrating. The clear conflict of interest isn't theoretical here. Trump and his family have financial ties to several crypto ventures, including World Liberty Financial, a platform that has its own branded token and, wait for it, its own stablecoin. According to the Bloomberg Index, crypto-linked ventures have added more than $620 million to Trump's net worth just in recent months. So yes, while the legislation is a win for the crypto world, it's also deeply political. It's entangled with personal fortunes, campaign cash, and ideological divisions about what the future of finance should look like. Still, even the biggest banks are actually paying attention and sounding alarm. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, Bank of America's Brian Moynihan, and Citigroup's Jane Fraser have all sounded the alarm. Crypto.
If you mean crypto like Bitcoin, I've always said it's a fraud.
No hope for it.
Well, if they think they're a currency, there's no hope for it. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a public decentralized fund.
On earnings calls this week, they acknowledged the growing threat of stablecoins to traditional payment systems. Think about it. If consumers can move dollars instantly via stablecoins with lower fees and no middlemen, why rely on your bank? And of course, they make a good point. This is an excellent point. The bill is a first step toward a possible banking system overhaul, and likely not without victims. Stablecoins could pull billions in deposits out of.
Any comments on
same
that?
old phone.
Any comments on that?
Shalom, brother Leonard. It does sound like they're implementing the scheme. We know they already set up cryptocurrency years ago, but the plan they got to actually take the money from everybody in the other countries, they're actually like starting that process now. That's what the video sound like.
Exactly. Like I said, they setting everybody up for the this is how they're gonna bring the whole world to their knees. Okay, but let's go one. This is another video to change to the same thing.
All right, let's get into it today. This is huge because we are talking about possibly the biggest thing that's ever happened in crypto. And today we'll break it down for you. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back in to the show. Let's get started. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that's Coinbase. This is where you guys can get going on your crypto journey. And if you're ready to make your trades, you're going to get into crypto for the very first time. You're going to buy Ethereum. You might be buying some XRP. You might be buying some Solana, whatever it is. All you have to do is join Coinbase.com. Use our link down below. It's going to get you up to $200 in crypto to make your first trade. So check it out and get started there. Let's go into the first clip that'll give you guys a little bit of, information around the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, and also this anti-CBDC bill. Take a look.
It's sometimes hard to separate the real from the fake in this town. Blockchain technology, Web3, will transform every single industry. And that transformation will happen much faster than people realize. If we can keep government from continuing to screw this up, we tend to overstate the impact of what we do in this town. Everything is historic, but this is different. This is huge. This is a watershed victory for this country, a golden age of innovation and the golden age of digital assets. Today, we do something real.
All right, so I'm in agreement with that. I think we are at an inflection point here in the United States because we have been playing catch up for a very long time. Almost every country in the world has been edging against us and beating us to the punch in digital assets. Well, that's all about to change. The Clarity Act passes the House with a monster bipartisan vote, 294 to 134. This is huge because of the amount of Democrats that were joining the Republicans. This is even more Democrats than were anticipated. So this is a marker, and I would agree that the market structure legislation that is in loop right now to go to the Senate and most likely get passed because of the bipartisan support, this will be huge for crypto in general, and it also starts to change maybe the future of where the United States is when it comes to digital assets. Clarity.
Okay, so dead cat on the line to me. Okay, anybody else got anything on that?
Brother Leonard, I just want to state that I've been ignoring this Bitcoin and crypto thing since it came out. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had conversations about it, about people investing into it, but when you just know who's running the world right now and who's inventing these things, it's something that you don't want to put your hands into. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, right. Exactly.
I just wanted to say that.
It's a booby trap, believe me. Okay. Yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions? Any comments about anything that we talked about on Women's Line or during the week or anything research? Anybody got anything they want to chop it up?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I just want to say that ever since I heard that breakdown on in Leviticus that you did the other night, and just how you was just it's questions to be asked to these Christians, man. I just can't stop thinking about it. It's just that was a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, first of all, human sacrifice is an abomination. And when you get to asking a Christian, like, did who did a Levite go into this Jesus, this JC? Did they take all these inward parts out? They clean it out efficiently, like it's supposed to, like it says in Leviticus. It just raises questions when you looking at it right. I just wanted to say that.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Yeah. And you got anything, AJ?
Shalom. But I was gonna say, I seen a video earlier about Elon, where they were saying his company, they've been releasing like particles, particles into the air or whatever, and it's been getting people sick.
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah,
And I just think that's
it,
interesting.
what they say it's spreading fast now.
Right. Yes, sir. And then I wanted to say with Elon, remember how I was telling you how I had that fake job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shipping the packages. When I had thought about it later, I was talking to my mom later about that. I was like, most of those packages that I was shipping, they was all Starlink things. I don't know what them boxes was, but they was kind of big and they was all Starlink. So I just wanted to add that too.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Yeah, he got, like I said, it's something with Starlink in the election. I think it's gonna come out before it's over. Oh yeah. Okay. Everybody good on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna play this right here. It's tied to what I've been saying the last couple of weeks about they saying that America is the mystery Babylon, but like I said, when you look at the merchandise that's being used by mystery Babylon, it's the Israelis. All that merchandise that's listed is uh, dealing with Israel and dealing with our culture. So here go another example right here of what I'm talking about.
Right, so Benjamin Netanyahu,
This was 8 hours ago.
who may have Greek airspace at his disposal, he doesn't have his ports anymore, and that's a much bigger problem for him than you might think. Piraeus, one of the Mediterranean's
So they shutting down all the ports that's dealing with Israel because of Gaza.
largest container ship ports and a vital logistics hub for Israeli goods, dock workers have looked at 5 ships packed with military-grade steel for Israel's arms industry and said, forget it, sunshine, we're not touching that. While Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis signs billion-dollar defense deals with Israeli weapons manufacturers and parrots diplomatic platitudes about humanitarian concern, the men and women hauling containers in Europe's busiest Mediterranean port have taken Greece's foreign policy into their own hands. Where ports are so often just thought of as way stations of global trade, they're now becoming moral battlegrounds, and this isn't even the first port to have done this. But you won't have heard much, if anything at all, about the dock worker stands against Israel happening around the Med and elsewhere, of which this is just the latest example. Netanyahu may be counting on Western governments to keep his war machine running, but ordinary working class people who have to actually handle his munitions, well, they're increasingly refusing to.
Okay.
Right, so ordinary dock workers across the Med and around the world have been increasingly taking stands where their leaders aren't necessarily doing the same. The power of ordinary working class people being ably demonstrated here, therefore, which is likely why it's not gone reported in Western mainstream media. They'd hate you to get any ideas of your own, of course. The latest example, the Piraeus refusal to unload Israeli military goods, sent a clear message. Greece's moral conscience does not reside in its parliament or its foreign ministry, and frankly, many of us would associate our own governments in that remark, wouldn't we? But in its ports, in its people, in other words. And it really is the power of ordinary people behind it. It was not an isolated protest, but the latest in a series of actions by ENEDEP, the Port of Piraeus Container Handling Workers Union. Yes, a trade union, folks, which had already blocked ammunition shipments to Israel in October of last year as well. These actions, coordinated with pro-Palestinian activist networks and rooted in a tradition of militant Greek labor politics, are part of a broader trend of port blockades against Israel from Genoa to Durban. But let's start with the Greek government, because protests happen when people disagree with them, don't they? And this was a protest at the end of the day, wasn't it? Greece's alignment with Israel did not happen by accident. Over the last decade, certainly, Athens has shifted its stance towards a deepening strategic partnership with Tel Aviv. And this has been based on a combination of things like security, energy, and diplomatic calculations, but it sits uneasily with the Greek public, who are not so far away from Israel and Palestine in the grand scheme of things, are they? Everything happening there is a bit close to home and has now provoked outright defiance from the country's workers. Refusing to handle Israeli war cargo undermines Netanyahu's narrative of legitimacy. It paints his government as dependent on global complicity, which it is, and highlights the moral failure of allied governments, which are all true. It also destroys the propaganda Israel is still sowing, their Hasbara, because unified port blockades of their military materials blow all of that out of the water. Again, it's why this story has gone grossly underreported. Israel has long relied on the assumption that global trade networks are apolitical, but the port blockades challenge this assumption directly. If these actions spread, they could create a significant public relations crisis for Israel, forcing it to divert resources into lobbying and diplomatic pressure rather than focusing solely on its military objectives.
Okay, so what you think about that? Anybody got any comments on it? Okay. Yeah, like I said before, we said that the merchants of the world that trade with her is going to stand afar off. Nobody really understand how much trade and merchandise and activity go on in Israel. Okay. But anyway, we go to our topic for discussion. I was talking about this earlier, tied to what I was talking about earlier. Okay, we'll play it and then chop it up.
Whew. Oh my goodness, I'm reporting to you today. I'm sounding the alarm again with another expat warning. No internets, no flights, no banks. Is a global lockdown coming?
Yeah, it's going back to what I just showed you about Tory, calling African Americans back to Africa, and this one Africa thing, everything is going on with Africa. Believe me, there's a lot of people leaving here.
Right now. Why are people not sounding the alarm? The New York to France airline route has just been quietly suspended with little explanation. They're not telling you why. You can no longer book a flight from New York to Paris, France, okay? So if you are planning on coming to Africa and you are going to divert through France, that's no longer possible. You may want to take the Miami route. If you were going to leave from New York to France, if you were going from France to America to New York, you can no longer do that. Now, currently they're citing that there's no demand for people from Europe to come into America. That's true. I saw the videos. Nobody is in those airlines anymore. Nobody from Europe is going to America the way they used to. Europeans are staying within Europe for intra-Europe travel, or they're diverting to Asia, or they're diverting to Africa. They're no longer interested in America. America's tourism has completely collapsed. Hear me well. I need you to hit the like button. I need you to share this with 5 people right now, because again, you cannot book a flight from New York to Paris, France. And the cancellations were not tied to weather, and no major strike has been announced. And yet, travelers across JFK, Charles de Gaulle, found themselves scrambling for rebookings, hotel vouchers, or worse.
Okay.
Looking for reliable car insurance that doesn't break the bank.
Comments so far? What do you think?
And Shalom, is this because of Trump?
Well, they looking at the numbers of people leaving.
Okay.
America's tourism is went to the dogs because of Trump, and because of what he's doing with the ICE agents and how they back in Israel with Gaza. So a lot of that comes from that, but a lot of people are leaving here. This started way back in 2019, what they did with a year of return, but it just escalated. They trying to cut it off. Right, they're trying to cut it off. Yeah.
We're stranded indefinitely. And this isn't just a travel inconvenience. This is a warning of something bigger. If you're a digital nomad, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are an expat, a remote worker, the signs are stacking up right in front of our eyes. There's a quiet tightening of the global movement. But listen, this is reminiscent of the days of the early 2020s, literally the year 2020. But this time it's not for a pandemic, it's not for an illness. It's because of instability, political censorship, and economic collapse. These new patterns stretch from Africa to Europe, and this is what you need to know. Travel diplomats are currently pointing to an airline cooling between US and EU relations. Historically, these two areas would just always be in each other's spaces. People would fly to New York. New York is like one of the top tourist destinations, or at least in times past. Paris is undoubtedly a top travel destination on the entire planet. But listen, these route changes that are unannounced and provoked by nothing signal that things are getting worse. Now, this could be your transit point to North Africa or West Africa, but in short, if you're bilingual, you're building something cross-border, your movement just got a lot harder. Now let's talk about the U.S. Embassy closures and State Department clues, because you should also be aware, my friend, as we're talking about the New York to Paris flight being cut off, guess what else? The State Department has issued new travel warnings and stopped people from coming into America from Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana, and a couple of other countries. They have stopped visas into America. I actually saw a video from Redirecting. Shout out to Watchman Reports and Redirecting. Okay, I was watching the Redirecting channel. It is a truth channel, all right? And she was talking about, hey, are these closures and these like mimicking lockdown situations trying to stop people from coming into America or trying to stop Americans from getting out of America? And I just want to know what you think down below, because it's weird. It's one thing when we had 2020, it's one thing that you can see that they had, you know, a pandemic or whatever, and things are starting to close down. But we're seeing small closures around the world, mostly in America, right? Last time it started in China. We're seeing small closures around the world for almost no apparent reason at all, which is really weird. Sold property abroad. And our children are getting older too. And so now we're thinking like, okay, which colleges do we want them to go on the continent? What kind of relationships do we want them to have? What ideally, like, what people would we potentially want them to be married to, right? Do we want them to have, you know, networks in Ghana? Do we want them to have networks in Ethiopia? Do we want them to have networks? Obviously, they're already going to have a network in Mauritius. Do we want to potentially take them to Seychelles? If that sounds appealing to you and you like that train of thought, the state that I asked for could possibly be for you. But listen, now let's talk about North Africa. Tunisia has seen 3 nationwide blackouts, okay? Nigeria has experienced regional internet outings during student protests, and Ikawas are now being retargeted by advanced phishing and infrastructure attacks. If your business relies on a Airbnb, if your business is not digitally free, if you're not a consultant or you do not have an online arm of your business, and you are basically strapped to a brick and mortar, strapped to one location, this is your sign to diversify like yesterday, okay? And
Okay. Any comments on that? What you think? Like I said, they getting out of here. Believe that. They're not. Nobody's really zeroing in on it because all the other stuff they got going on. But people is leaving here. They believe me. They exited this place, and they watching it. Okay. So with that being said, nobody have anything. We're gonna get to this meat, and like I say, tie your shoes up because this right here, a doozy. Yeah, I was looking at that the video that you sent, AJ, about the what they 100,000 man war, giant war.
Right, yes, sir.
Okay, did you look at it?
Right, yes, sir.
What'd you get out of that?
Well, and how they explain it in the video is not quite like how it is in the Nebuchadnezzar tablets.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? But I mean the video just shows proof, period, that war happened. Is just the most thing to me. Like that's deleted out of our scriptures in the King James.
Oh yeah. It's totally complete deleted because they don't want you to have no kind of understanding of giants, angels. They want to read, you know, the reader or anybody that's doing research of the giants, because of what it's going to do is it's going to nullify JC and what they done in the New Testament. So they don't want you going there dealing with that no kind of way.
Right, yes, sir. Because they and Cam had brought this up too when we was talking one time about, you know, they just kind of teach us that that Goliath was and his brothers were the only giants. when we know it was the Canaanites and many other races.
Right. Yeah, in Genesis chapter 10, I'm always going there from verses 12 all the way to 20 is a wash with giants. And that's the giants that made up the, I think it's the million man, 100 man, 100,000 man giant war. Forget what they call it, but yeah. So that's where all these giants come. It was that was a lot of people don't understand how many giants it was because that was the purpose of the flood.
Excuse me, my bad. My mind is still blown about how those were all giants. Just wanted to say that.
Right, yeah. So you, and then once you understand that, you know, it's a whole nother story, a whole nother understanding going on that nobody's really dealing with because they want you to just focus in on JC being the lamb, and we already know how crazy that is. He ain't the lamb. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, in the process of watching that video, the guy brought up a book called The Writings of Abraham. You ever heard of that, AJ?
The writings of Abraham, not the Testament or the Apocalypse.
This totally different, man. This will blow your mind, bro. Believe me, I'm just setting it up. So it's the writings of Abraham, right? Yeah. So it's crazy, man. So all that good meat and understanding that we get out of Jasher. You know, Jasher got a lot of meat in it, but oh man, I'm gonna try to read as much as I can up until like 8:50, whatever, because we got to chop it up on the other thing. But yeah, so I'm just gonna start reading it, man. Based off now, you already got the meat from Jasher, right? So yeah, brace yourself, bro. This is crazy. you know it's good because it's the truth. We got to be in a certain place to absorb it. But anyway, so Abraham telling the story. I'm starting out. It's the writings of Abraham, right? He said it's supposed to be. It was translated by this guy named John Bryant. And it was a papyrus they found in Egypt, right? And you can relate to that if you understand that those Edomites. Remember, they was in Alexandria, Egypt, when they concocted the New Testament and all that. When they made the Septuagint, it was in Egypt. You understand that, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
So here we go. Abraham was born, the son of Terah, who was a prime minister to Nimrod, who reigned in Ur of the Chaldeans. And now this Nimrod was a wicked man and an idolater, and my father was led. Abraham telling the story now, led to follow after his abominations. Moreover, Nimrod was a man of mighty power, and he was master. You need to research this. He was a master mayhem. That's a master, M-A-H-A-N. So that to me is equivalent to, on the wicked side, to Melchizedek on the righteous side. So anyway, it says, so these secret societies ain't just pop up out of nowhere and go all the way back to this. Moreover, Nimrod was a man of mighty power, and he was a master of mayhem and had in his hands the secrets of the ancients as they had come down from Cain. See that? And these nutbuckets got it now. Right? They came down from Cain, whereas he knew the words of the power and the signs of using them, and he had the holy garments which have been given unto Adam in the garden in which was great power. All this power did Nimrod use to gain after the manner of the secret combination. Got to figure out what that is too. I kind of know what it is, but it's the manner of the secret combination. With his power, he has set out to build a tower which will reach to heaven, even the city of my father Enoch, which had been taken up, that he, Nimrod, might dispose God from his throne, for God had taken up his abode among the people of Enoch. So let's look at this right quick. that we didn't have no understanding on this. We know it's 2 Enochs, right?
Yes, sir.
Cain built a city called Enoch and named after his son Enoch, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Enoch had a city. The other Enoch had a city too that they dwelled in. The righteous dwelled in that city. Like we was looking at in the book of Adam and Eve, that a bunch of them dwelled up on this mountain. The righteous Cain descendants were down on the bottom of the mountain. So they had a place where the righteous dwelled there. They didn't dwell with the wicked. They was cast out of the garden. But anyway, we keep going. It says 6. But God frustrated the plans of Nimrod by confounding the languages of him, this is the Tower of Babel, and his people, that they could no longer remember the sacred words, and they were scattered forth over the face of the whole earth. At that time, Nimrod came and established the city of Ur, which is the city of lights. You might want to Google that, the city of lights, for he yet retained his determination to build a city to rival the city of God, that the lights and power might center in him. So this right here is letting you know he survived. When the Most High, the Lord of hosts, destroyed the Tower of Babel, he survived, right? 8, and through the ministration of Satan, so he being counseled by Satan, through the ministration of Satan, he did receive again some of the words of power, and did recognize the secret combination, there you go again, among his people. But he had no power as at the first, for the fullness of the pure language. They take us to Zephaniah, right? So it's something with our language too, that we've lost a lot of our power. So it says, through the ministration of Satan, he had received again some of the words of the power, and did recognize the secret combination among his people, but he had not power as at first, for the fullness of the pure language was not restored to him, according to the decree of the Most High. See that? So that's what we at right now. We waiting on the pure language. Okay, anyway, keep going. Now, in the wickedness of Nimrod, my father stood by his side, for he was deceived by the subtle cunning and power which Nimrod possessed. My father Terah was the son of Nahor. Nahor was the son of Shirug. They dead on point, right? They said son of Shirug. Shirug was the son of Ru. Ru was the son of Peleg, in whose days the earth was divided. That's what I was talking about last night on the women's line. The earth was divided not by according to the sons of, they ain't even here yet. But not according to the Israelites, but the earth was divided according to the sons of God. That's how Michael received the land of the land of Canaan. Okay, in Daniel chapter 10, it said Noah was the son of Lamech, the son of Methuselah, the son of Enoch, who was taken up with his city, that they might minister unto those in the flesh who sought a higher law than was available to them on the earth. Now the birth of Noah, check it out. This is where it get interesting there, man. This is crazy. Okay, it says, now the birth of Noah was after this manner, while his father Lamech was journeying toward his home from preaching. See that? They're trying to make you think gospel. This is the gospel, right? But we know Melchizedek, right? Teacher of righteousness, toward his home for preaching the gospel among the sons of men. This is Melchizedek, most of whom had rejected his testimony. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and saluted him, saying, Hail, Lamech, thou favored one of God, for according to the promise of the Lord God to thy father Enoch. So this is because of Enoch. Thou hast been chosen to be the father to him, though whom the seed of God will be preserved through the great flood, which the gods will send upon the earth. Notice, which the gods, we know these 7 angels, which the gods will send upon the earth in judgment. For all the sons of men have gone astray through the corruption of those angels who fell from among the gods and mingled their seed with the daughters of men and begot sons of great strength and mighty wickedness. Okay. This chapter 3, verse 3. Yea, these have caused all flesh to corrupt their way before the Lord, wherefore they shall be destroyed. Save, look at this, save the son who shall be seed of the angels. Okay. Chapter 4. The mother of Noah was also the daughter of, check it out. This is where the meat coming in at. Okay. Let me get it. It says, the mother of Noah was also daughter of Methuselah. For Lamech and his wife had the same father, but different mothers. Okay. And when Noah was born, his body was full of light. Check it out. They try to trick us off over there, but right here, when Noah was born, his body was full of light, which then caused great consternation to his father and his mother and his father's wife. Check it out. Here go to me. And his father's wives. Noah got more than one wife. Look at this. And his father's wives and his children, all his household. See that? They want you to think it's just him, Shem, and Japhet. But anyway, let's keep going. 3. Moreover, the child stood upon his feet when he came forth from the womb, and his tongue was loose. And he did sing praises unto the Lord, saying, I will praise thee, O Lord, for thou art the source of all power. Yea, the wellspring which it floweth unto the sons of God. And thou art also abounding in wisdom and great and mighty counsel unto thy servants. So remember, let's go back to the conversation we had the other night when they brought the boy out with Atla. How old was he? 8 years old, right?
Right.
And we was dumbfounded. How can he be king at 8 years old? Well, look what this Negro doing after mama womb. Okay, anyway, nevertheless, though thou art a God who is long suffering, and this the boy talking, Noah. Nevertheless, thou art a God who is long suffering in judgment. The sins of the children of men have come up before thy face, and thy fury have waxed strong, and will be visited with judgment upon the earth. So he prophesied, baby, right? Okay. Thy mercies, O Lord, are beyond number, but thou art a God that visited wrongdoing upon the children of men, who the fullness of their iniquity have come upon them. Therefore shall the earth be destroyed according to the word of God, which cannot fail. For the waters of the flood shall come upon the earth, and all things shall perish from before thy face, O Lord. Nevertheless, in thee do we put our trust, for whatsoever thou doest, O Lord, thou hast ever done justly. Okay. Chapter 5. These things were a source of amazement. Okay. That's because of what his age. These things were a source of amazement and concern unto Lamech. See, Lamech spellbound. Says these things was a source of amazement and concern to Lamech, who thereupon went unto his father Methuselah, and finding him in the temple, he said, my father, this day did my wife, thy daughter, bear a man child. Here go the man child. See, we don't see man child nowhere. They stick it in with JC. But anyway, 2. And at his birth, the room was full of light, so that we could not look upon him. And when we could not look upon him, behold, the child's hair was white, and fire seemed to come from his eyes. And then he stood upon his feet and sang the hymn of praise unto the Lord. And lo, he seemed to have the tongue of the angels. Okay, check it out. Tell me now the meaning of these things, and how can I raise such a son? Okay, he said, I can't. Look what he's doing already. He just came out the womb. I'm gonna be able to raise.
Brother Leonard, this is Brother Leonard. Sorry for interrupting. This is Noah that's coming out the womb.
Yeah, it's Noah.
Okay. I'm just making sure I'm keeping up, and I'm making sure I'm keeping up and getting the visual of what you're reading.
Right.
Okay.
He said, hearing these words, Methuselah too was troubled and said, fear not, my son, For although I know now the meaning of these things, I will go unto my father, Enoch, for he is privy to the angels, and he will be able to explain all these things to us. Whereupon Methuselah traveled to the top of the highest mountain, which he could speak unto his father. Enoch, he said unto him, my father, my daughter, who is the wife of my son, Lamech, have this day brought forth a man child. And at his birth, the room was full of light, so that they could not look upon him. And when they could not look upon him, behold, the child's hair was white, and fire seemed to come from his eyes. And then he stood upon his feet and sang the hymn of praise unto the Lord. And lo, he seemed to have the tongue of angels, right? So we're gonna rightly divide this now. We ain't gonna make no judgments until, okay, anyway, 4. Thus said my son Lamech, who is greatly perplexed as to the meaning of these things and how he can raise such a son. Chapter 7. Hearing the report, now here we go. Like I say, who you gonna deal with? Enoch or Peter and Paul and John and Luke and all them. So hearing this report, Enoch comforted his son Methuselah, saying, fear not, my son, nor fret thyself about this matter. For did not a holy angel visit the son of Lamech and tell him that this should be the seed of angels? And it was, and is it not so? Okay, let's keep going. For this cause have these things happened. But on the 8th day, when the child was, check it out. For this cause have this thing happened. But on the 8th day, when the child is circumcised, he shall be covered and shall appear as other men, except that his hair shall remain white as a token that through him the Lord will do a mighty work. So 8 days, when he got circumcised, 8 days, all that went away. He took it away. You hear me? He became a normal person like us.
Okay.
On the 8th
So,
day,
so when he got circumcised, you saying
he became a normal man like us.
Okay.
Right. He lost all that.
So at first he wasn't a normal man?
No, he had this, it's like remember Moses was up there 40 days and 40 nights with the Lord?
Yeah.
And he started changing. He had to cover his head because they couldn't look upon him.
Okay.
This was on the son. This was on the boy until he got 8 years old, 8 days old, they circumcised him. Then he became a normal man.
Okay? And we're still talking about Noah. This is still Noah, right?
Right, there's Noah.
Okay,
right.
My bad. I'm just making sure, my bad.
Right. Then chapter 9. And the child grew, waxed strong in wisdom and mighty in power of the priesthood, for he was initiated into the order of the ancients, this Melchizedek, in his childhood, and he learned the rights and the ordinances and the powers of the priesthood, which with the signs and the tokens and the key words wherewith he could call upon the powers of heaven to combat the forces of the adversary. And when he come of age, he took it out. He come of age, he took 12 wives, and he begot many sons and daughters who grew up in the righteousness and served the Lord all the days, and some died and others were caught up unto the city of Enoch. Okay. But in the next generation, they corrupted themselves. For the daughters of Noah's sons did go forth and lay with the sons of men, which things were an abomination in the eyes of God. Wherefore the Lord said unto Noah, behold, the daughters of thy sons have sold themselves, for behold, mine anger is kindled against the sons of men, for they would not hearken to my voice. Wherefore all those who are in unto them will be destroyed with them. Chapter 10. And when Noah was 400, check it out. He go to me right here, as far as I'm concerned. And when Noah was 450 50 years old, he begot a son, and he called his name Japhet. Right? Check it out. 42 years later, he begot another son of her who was the mother of Japhet, and he called his name Shem. 8 years later, Noah begot a son of his wife, Naamah. Okay, see that? Naamah, right? Who was the seed of Cain. And he called his name Ham, right? For he said, through him will the curse be preserved in the land. We're going to come back and chop that up. But anyway, let's keep going. Now, Noah had taken a wife of the seed of Cain. She was righteous. She was a righteous woman. Nevertheless, the curse remained with her seed, according to the word of God. Read that again. Now, Noah had taken a wife of the seed of Cain. This is Naamah, to Cain's sister. She was a righteous woman. Nevertheless, the curse remained with her seed, according to the word of God. Now he's going to break it down. This will perk my attention right here. It says, and Noah took her on his wives. For the word of the Lord came unto Noah, saying, take unto thyself Naamah, the daughter of Lamech, who dwelleth here in the city of thy fathers, for she have been faithful to my gospel. Wherefore I shall preserve through her the seed of Cain, through the flood. Okay? This Lamech, who was the father of Naamah, was the seed of Cain, being the son of Methuselah. This is Cain's lineage in chapter 4, Genesis. Son of Mahalalel, the son of Irid, the son of Enoch, son of Cain. Lamech had married Ada and Zillah, the daughters of Canaan, the sons of Enos, the sons of Seth, the son of Adam. Ada bore children unto Lamech, but Zillah was barren until her old age, when the Lord opened her womb, and she conceived and bore a son and a daughter. And her son's name was Tubal-Cain, saying, after I have withered away, it's the same thing Sarah said now with Isaac. After I have withered away, I have obtained him from the Almighty God. Her daughter, she named Naamah, saying, after I had withered away, I have obtained pleasure and delight. Chapter 12. Okay. While Naamah was yet a child, great consternation fell upon the seed of Cain. For Irid, the son of Enoch, the son of Cain, had become a member of a secret combination and was privy to all his secrets, until one night, when the Lord appeared unto him in a dream. Irid said, let me go back. It says, night, when the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, Irid, thou hast done evil instead of good, and hast followed after Satan rather than God. Wherefore I shall destroy thee and thine house when I send in the flood upon the earth. But Irid was pricked in his heart and pleaded with the Lord to show mercy and preserve his seed through the great flood. Seeing this, his penitence was true, the Lord said unto him, Irid, if thou wilt repent and reveal the evils of the secret combination unto the sons of Seth, I will have mercy upon thee, and I will join thy seed unto the seed of Seth, that it may be preserved through the great flood. Wherefore I went forth and began to reveal the secrets of the sons of Cain unto the sons of Seth. Lamech, being master mayhem, this word again. Lamech being master mayhem at that time, found Irid sitting in his garden with Joram, the young son of Irid, and he slew him. Right? So Lamech, this is the wicked Lamech, killed his son Irid, right? And then thus Lamech slew Irid for the sake of the oath of the secret combination, and he slew Irid. He slew Irid's son with him. Now here we go. Okay. Thus Lamech slew Irid for the sake of but Tubal-Cain, the son of Lamech, had followed him and viewed his evil deed which he had committed, and he revealed it unto, here you go. This is why Ada and Zillah had kicked him to the curb. It says, evil deed which he had committed, and he revealed it unto his mother Zillah, and she unto her sister Ada. So Tubal Cain went and told on him, and that's why Ada and Zillah, they went to their father's house. Here you go. Anyway, this chapter 8. Verse 8. Wherefore Ada and Zillah confronted Lamech with his evil, and cursed him in the name of the Lord for having slain Eric, who had repented of his wickedness from among the sons of men. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. This in the King James. You wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech. I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, okay? If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech shall be 70 and sevenfold. Oh, 1 minute. Okay. 70 and let me get it. 70-fold. Lamech wives, therefore, feared to confront him further, but Lamech repented not of his evil deeds, and finding his son Tubal Cain at prayer, he slew him for having revealed his murders. And when Ada and Zillah, the wives of Lamech, learned of this, they took their remaining sons and daughters and went into their father Canan's city, and revealed the remainder of the secrets of the evil combination among the sons of Adam. Thus did Naamah come to dwell among the sons of Adam, and she grew up before the Lord in righteousness, and was known for her tender care toward the sick and the unfortunate. Nevertheless, she had not husband, because she was of the forbidden race. And when the word of the Lord came unto Noah, saying, take unto thyself Naamah, the daughter of Lamech, who dwelleth here in the city of thy fathers, for she hath been faithful to my gospel. Wherefore I shall preserve through her the seed of Cain through the flood. Noah went unto his father Methuselah, and Methuselah inquired of the Lord, and returned this word unto the son of Lamech. Verily, thus saith the Lord, mine handmaid Naamah have I given unto my son Noah, that the seed of Cain might be preserved through the great flood which I was send upon the earth. Wherefore, let not my son Noah fear to take her to wife, for in so doing he shall be blessed. Through him will come all nations. Okay. Wherefore, say unto him, Noah, my son, I have looked upon the evils of the sons of men which have come up before me, for they have corrupted the whole earth, save only this city in which thou dwellest. Therefore, I will send in the flood upon the earth. Both thou and thy seed will I preserve through the flood. For I will send mine angels to instruct thee in the building of an ark, wherein that ye shall be saved. Behold, I shall establish thy seed before me forever, and I will spread them abroad over the earth, as numerous as the sands upon the seashore. Okay. Thy seed shall not cease as long as the earth shall stand, but through thee and thy priesthood, which will be preserved in thy seed, shall all nations be blessed. So I'm gonna stop right there. Anybody got any questions? Anything stick out you want to chop it up about? Anybody got anything?
So Naamah was the one that helped preserve the seed of Cain.
According to the story right here, yeah.
Okay.
She's from Cain lineage. That's Tubal Cain's sister.
Tubal Cain's sister. And that was also Lamech's handmaid. Was it
Lamech's daughter?
Lamech's daughter, okay.
Right.
Lamech's daughter.
You got two Lamechs. This is the wicked one.
The wicked one, okay.
Okay. So we keep going. I'm in chapter 14. When Lamech returned this word to his son, Noah rejoiced and praised the Lord, saying, I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, for thou hast been unto me a strong wall against all that would seek my destruction. Yea, thou hast promised to shelter me from the disasters which are coming upon the earth, that the flood shall not come in upon me to destroy my seed from the earth. Thou hast set my foot upon a rock, that the sons of men shall not prevail against me. Yea, I will walk in the ways of the ancients, in the paths which thou hast appointed. I will ascend, or I will spend my days, for thou art my shield and my deliverer, and in thee will I trust all the days of my life. So this is Lamech talking to the Lord of hosts. Okay. 15. Thus did Noah take to wife Naamah, the daughter of Zelah, the wife of Lamech, of the seed of Cain, and she bore him a son. Check it out. This is where the drama coming in at. We're gonna chop it up, but it says the wife of Lamech of the seed of Cain, she bore him a son, whom his name was Ham. So Naamah had Ham. And thus was the curse preserved in the land through the great flood. And when the patience of God was ended, in which he did grant a space of time for repentance unto the sons of men, the flood came in upon the earth and destroyed all flesh from off the face of the earth, save 8 souls only. For Noah, his youngest son's wife Ada, and his 3 sons Shem, Japhet, and Ham, and one of each of their wives were preserved in the ark, which the angels had instructed Noah to build. The remainder, check it out, the remainder of the righteous had died or been caught up into Enoch City prior to the time of the flood. These 8 were saved. Now, when the flood had abated and the ark had come to a rest upon the mountain, Noah and his father descended. Check it out. Noah and his family descended, and after offering sacrifices unto the Lord and dedicating the land, they began to till the ground and raise all manner of crops. And when the grapes harvest was come in, Noah made wine and drank the new wine in his tent, and his heart was made glad, and he rejoiced before the Lord for the bounty which the Lord had given him. And it was upon the feast of Pentecost when Noah drank the new wine before the Lord and lay down to make naked in his tent, right, to sleep. And when Ham, the son of Noah, entered the tent, he saw his father sleeping naked upon his bed with a sacred garment, with the sacred garments which he had been given to Adam in the Garden of Eden, lying nearby. Okay. Ham knew that he and his posterity could not bear the priesthood because of the curse of Cain, which was upon them, and knowing there was great power in the sacred garments, he stole them from his father Noah and hurried to his tent. Rushing his family, Ham instructed them to strike their tents and led them away to the plains of Shinar, where he dwelt and where Ham died. Now Ham's wife was Ziptar, and she was also the seed of Cain. And they had a daughter named Zitah. And this daughter, after the death of Ham, led a body of his people westward until they reached a body of water in the land of Ziptar, which is in Egypt, where they settled. And as the waters receded off the land, they spread out and built many cities and temples. Before the death of Ham, the sacred garments was given secretly by him to his son Cush. Okay. Also, Cush also kept them hidden. In his old age, gave them unto his son Nimrod. And when Nimrod was 20 years of age, he put on the garments, and he derived great strength and power from them. Moreover, Nimrod was instructed in all secrets of evil combination by his father Cain, for Cain had not perished in the flood. Wherefore, Nimrod became a mighty man among the sons of men and established his kingdom and grew stronger and stronger in wickedness after the order of the secret combination, which was from the beginning. For Nimrod spread his domination over all mankind, save those in the city of Shalom. Okay, check that out. Chapter 18, Shem ruled. Here you go. Shem ruled in the city of Shalom. He was called Melchizedek. See that? For the reign as a king under his father Noah, and he was a priest of the Most High God. After the departure of Ham from the presence of his father Noah, Shem and Japheth dwelt together in peace under the benign rule of Noah. But in time, conflict arose among them, and Noah led the seed of Shem to a new land, which the Lord showed him, where they built a city, which they called Shalom, the city of peace. Okay. Noah invested his son Shem with authority to reign as Prince of Peace. And Noah devoted his days to instructing his people after the order of the ancients. And his people dwelt in righteousness and worshiped the Lord their God and served him. Okay. They established an order of heaven among them and sought after the city of Enoch. And the Lord came among them and ministered to them, and those who sought for gain of this world went out from among them, for they held all things common after the order of Enoch, and no man no man was above his neighbor. Okay, the comments so far? Anything stick out?
Shalom, brother Leonard. That the Prince of Peace, like how they used it as a title. I mean,
Right.
I remember they said that about Hezekiah too. You know, the wonderful counselor and all of that. So that's what just sparked my mind. And then that city of Shalom, when I was looking up cause Salem, you know, in Jasher, I think it says Salem, that Melchizedek ruled in Salem. And when I looked it up, that is what it said. It means like
that's
the city.
What it is. Exactly. And then that Prince of Peace you're talking about, that's in Isaiah 9:6.
Right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You got anything, Kelmo?
What stuck out to me? You said it says that that at one point in time, Shem and Japheth they had had got along, and it just go ahead.
I got my take on that. I see, even this everything been tampered with. Japheth, if this is the case right here, Nehemiah had Japheth.
Okay.
You know, they came when the Europeans done this, they put the curse on Ham. But we obviously know back during the time of Cain, he cursed Cain and turned him white.
Right.
So they you can
it
write
just
it
kind of okay. I was just gonna say it just makes me think about today. Like we got to even deal with them today. You know what I'm saying? We got to rub shoulders with them today. You know, in the workplace and all that. So it just kind of made me think of that. You know what I'm saying? And in that sense, not like we're like actually dealing with them, but you know they're here, and we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like in that sense.
Right. And then another thing too, just chopping it up. We'll go into a little more deep on when we get on my amazing conversation. But this right here, what we're reading, this explains, you know, it's giants among Japheth lineage, right?
Right.
And it's giants among Ham lineage. This explains it to me.
Yes, sir.
See what I'm saying? Because it said that not only was Naaman was from the lineage of Cain, but Ham and his wife, which we know it was from the lineage of Cain. So it's more than one person. That's Naaman got the DNA in her, but Japhet is carrying the actual seed. So, yeah, but it's just something to think about anyway. So I'm in chapter 19. It said, among those who went forth from the city of Shalom was Peleg. So we can connect this. Among those who went forth from the city of Shalom was Peleg, who traveled to the northwest and established a city after the order of his father Noah. For Peleg was the son of Eber, the son of Shelah, the son of Arphaxad, the son of Shem. And his people sought after the heavenly order and obtained it, for they were caught up like the city of Enoch. But Shelah, the son of Reu, son of Peleg, followed not after the ways of his father, for he sought after gain for himself. Wherefore he led those who were of like mind with himself out from the city of Peleg, and they journeyed even unto the land of Shinar. We see that. I'm always bringing that up. Okay, even to the land of Shinar, and became confederate with Nimrod, just like what Lot did with Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham went away from wickedness. Lot went to it. Same thing right here. Under the direction of Nimrod, Shagog and his companions entered into a secret combination and became men of power and wealth in Nimrod's kingdom. We see that today, the Boule. In the land of Shinar, Shagog begot Nahor, and Nahor begot Terah, my father. And Terah became great in the eyes of Nimrod, and Nimrod elevated him over all his people to stand at his right hand and to advise him on all matters. Now my father Terah took many wives and begot many children. And when he was 65 years of age, he took to wife Amathello, the daughter of Carnabo, the son of Sherud, and she was a young woman of 15 years. Okay, let me keep going. And when Terah was 70 years old, his wife Marthello conceived and bore a son, and bore him a son who his name was Abram, which interpretation is exalted father. For he said, Nimrod have raised me on high over all his hosts, wherefore my seed shall reign as gods forever. Now this prophecy he spake, not knowing that it was from the Lord God. Chapter 21. On the night, here we go. This is in Jasher right here. On the night that I was born, there were great signs in the heavens. And when Nimrod astrologers saw them, they were astonished, and they spake evil of me to the king, saying that surely I should overthrow his kingdom. Wherefore they counseled the king to purchase me of my father, that he might slay me, and thus frustrate the plans of God. King Nimrod thereupon sent for my father Terah, and spake unto him of the words of the astrologers, and asked for his son in return for a great sum of gold and silver. Okay. But the Spirit of the Lord wrought upon my father, that he was loth to give me up to the king. On the night that I was born, a son was also born unto one of my father's concubines. And this child my father took unto the king, and the king slew him in my stead. For thus had God ordained that I might grow up to serve him, the only wise and true God, and strive to establish his order in the earth all my days. It's 22. Thus was my life saved by my father Terah, and he took me with my mother Amathello and my nurse Edna unto a cave. It's JC right here. That's where they get the story of JC. Unto a cave hidden in the mountains, some distance from the city of Ur, where he secreted us and visited us each month at the new moon. For my father thus informed the king that he went each month on a new moon to a spot sacred to his family deity. For in the kingdom of Nimrod, each man worshiped gods of his own make, gods of wood and stone, each after the imagination of his own heart. Thus did I dwell in the cave with my mother, Amathello, and my nurse, Edna, and I knew no other man save my father, Terah, and my elder brother, Haran and Nahor, who accompanied my father on his visits. It's 23. And when I was 3 years old, the Lord visited me in a dream of the night, and he said unto me, Abram. And I said, Here I am. And he said unto me, Abram, I am the God of thy fathers, Peleg and Noah. It is I who preserved thy life when the wicked king Nimrod would have destroyed thee. For I softened the heart of thy father that he should hide thee away. Thus I did, for I have a mighty work for thee to do, establishing mine order upon the earth. And verily I say unto thee, I, the end, through thee shall this wicked Nimrod be destroyed from off the face of the earth. Behold, thou shalt remain in this cave with thy mother and thy nurse for yet 7 years. And at the end of the time thou shalt depart, and I will send mine angel to guide thee unto the city of thy father Noah, where thou shalt be instructed in the way of life. And from that time forth, the Lord instructed me often in dreams of the night, that I might that my mind was open to the ways of the kingdom. Okay. When I was 10 years old, 10 years of age, I departed from the cave by night while my mother and my nurse slept, and the angel of God met me and led me to the city of Shalom, where Noah and his sons Shem dwelled, and no man knew where I was. And I dwelt with Noah and Shem for 39 years, being instructed in all ways of the Most High God, and finding great happiness and peace and rest therein. I sought for the blessings of the fathers, and I received under the directions of Noah and Shem those instructions whereby I might enter into the order of the ancients and became a rightful heir and high priest, holding the right belongings to the fathers. For I was ushered into the church, they say church, into the church of the firstborn, and tasted of the fruits of the heavenly life. In my 50th year, Father Shem called me into his presence and instructed me to return to the house of my father, for there were many there now who were seeking after light and truth, for they had seen the foolishness of worshiping idols and wood and stone, but they knew not where to find the true God. We're in that same predicament now. Okay, there's something. And Father Shem blessed me, saying, Blessed art thou, Abraham, of the Most High God, for he hath looked upon thee and found thine heart right before him. For this cause the Most High shall visit thee, and thou shalt stand at the head and be the father of a multitude. For many nations shall spring forth from thy loins. And behold, in thy father's house dwelleth she whom the promises belong. For she is a princess in the house of the Most High, and shall reign as a queen over prosperity forever. Seek after her, take her to wife to my Sarah, for she will be the mother of the promised seed, Isaac, right? The blessing of God of Noah attended me, my son, as thou journeyest on thy way, away far from this time forth, thou shalt be a wanderer in the earth until thy seed shall come in to inherit the land by the power of God and the sword of his might. Be faithful always, preach the truth in soberness, and be vigilant in the cause of God, and thou shalt be blessed forever. Okay. Anybody got a question so far? Comments? Anything sticking out?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. They can never hide the angel with the sword, as much as they try. Michael is in all of these hidden books.
Right. Exactly. And there's some, oh yeah. Keep going. This is chapter 26. With this blessing rested upon me, I gathered together my family. Here you go right here. This is crazy. With this a blessing resting upon me, I gathered together my family, for I had 7 wives. It's Abraham. With this blessing resting upon me, I gathered together my family, for I had 7 wives in the city of Shalom, who had borne me 50 daughters. You ain't got no son. You got 50 daughters. And although I had no sons of mine own flesh, yet I had adopted 12 sons of those who were faithful to the order of the ancients. And foremost among these were Eleazar, that's the one in King James, Eleazar of Damascus, who had come to the city of Shalom, seeking after the blessings of the fathers, and had remained as my son. Him I appointed as steward over all I possessed for this journey, for he stood as mine heir, for I loved him as my son and brother. But Father Shem said unto me, Eleazar is a good and righteous man, and he shall be greatly blessed in the time and in eternity, but he shall not be thine heir. Who shall be thine heir? Who shall take in thine house of thy father? For she is ordained to be thy queen of queens and the mother of thine heir, the Sarah, right? Okay. Wherefore, as I said, I gather together my wives and my daughters and my adopted sons and their wives and their children, and I said unto them, hear my words, beloved, and hearken unto my speech, for I have been sent with a mission unto the house of my father in the land of Shinar to gather out the pure in heart and who are seeking after the true God. So notice right here how remember when Jacob left from Laban's house? How many people he had with him? You remember that?
When he left with his 2 wives and his cattle and all that.
Yeah, and concubines. He had what, 11 kids, didn't he?
Right. Yes, sir.
So, but they same thing right here. Look at this with Jacob. It says, verse 4 says, this chapter 29, I think, said, but Father Shem said unto me, he's at Shem's house, and it's time for him to go. Eleazar is a good and righteous man, and he shall be greatly blessed in time and in eternity, but he shall not be thy heir, right? Who shall be thine heir? Who shall take in the house of thy father? For she is ordained to be thy queen and the queen of queens and the mother of thine heir. This Sarah. He prophesied about it. He ain't met Sarah yet. Then 5. Wherefore, as I said, I gathered together my wives. This Abraham, man, tell us this. Wherefore I have said, I gathered together my wives and my daughters. He got 50 daughters and no son. And my adopted sons and their wives and their children. And I said unto them, hear my words, behold, and hearken unto my speech, for I have been sent with a mission unto the house of my father in the land of Shinar to gather out the pure in heart who are seeking after God. So same thing with Jacob when he left. He had a whole household. They don't tell us this with Abraham. When Abraham left from Shem, he got a whole household with him. Just like when Jacob went into Egypt. But anyway, verse 6, gather together all your goods and make you tents in which to dwell, and saddle your asses to travel upon the Most High, to travel upon for the Most High have declared that ye shall be wanderers upon the earth from this time forth until our seed shall come into inheritance this land by the power of God and the sword of his might. So that's Isaac, which eventually became Jacob, and then the 12 tribes. 27, chapter 27. Then commenced their preparation on the appointed day. All was in readiness for our departure. And when Father Shem came forth to bless us, Father Noah came also with him. Now, Father Noah dwelt in the temple, in the heart of the city of Shalom, and seldom came out, just like Enoch did, right? Seldom came out of the holy place, for I had never seen him without its sacred precincts. But he came forth at that time, and he lifted up his hands and blessed us in the name of the Most High God, and he departed from his house. He said, and we departed from his house. Okay, we journeyed slowly for their sake of the women and the children, and we journeyed not upon the Sabbath day, nor upon any of the holy days, but we thought it better to worship the Lord our God according to the pattern of heaven than to proceed rapidly upon our way. And we did not, and we did know that the Lord prospered us in our journey and protected us from the powers of all our enemies, because we did faithfully serve him and worship before his throne according to the divine pattern. But at length, we did arrive in the land of Shinar at the city of Ur. Now, the size of this city was immense. Okay, its buildings were grand and beautiful, with gardens upon the rooftops and rivers of water running down from level to level. The streets were wide and smooth, and inhabitants wealthy, dwelling in luxury. Merchant caravans continuously entered and left her gates, and the great of all nations came here to pay homage to the mighty King Nimrod. Nevertheless, the wealth of this great city was built upon sin, for the people served many idols, many idol gods, and offered upon their altars men, women, and children, after the same manner as the Egyptians. And they had numerous slaves who were kept down, in dungeons and poverty, and were driven like dumb beasts to provide the luxury in which their masters dwelt. So I want to deal with these two verses right here, because there ain't nothing new under the sun. It says, verse 6, merchants' caravans continually entered and left the gates, and the great of all the nations came here to pay homage to the mighty King Nimrod. Nevertheless, the wealth of this great city was built upon sin, for the people served many idol gods, and here you go right here. This killed JC. Says, let me read again. Nevertheless, the wealth of this great city was built upon sin, for the people served many idol gods, and offered upon their altars men, women, children, and after the same manner as the Egyptians. So this, when you say a man is a lamb, go back to this. Okay, verse 8. And they had numerous slaves who were kept down in dungeons and in poverty, and were driven like dumb beasts to provide the luxury in which their masters dwelt. That's happened here, transatlantic slave trade, and how this place got wealthy. Okay, 9. Behold, the inhabitants of the city did delight in whoredom and adultery and murder and all manner of evil, whereby they might get gain. It's America all day long. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them. Nevertheless, he did let them go on, that they might be fully ripened in iniquity before for the fullness of his wrath should fall upon them. All these things did the Lord God show unto me in a dream on the night before we entered into the city of Ur. And he said unto me, Abraham, this city is vile and corrupt, but it is in it are some or few souls who have not bowed the knee to their idol gods, and it is because of their prayers that I have brought you here, that they might be taught to worship the true God after the order of heaven and be led out from this wicked bondage. Okay. Wherefore, go into to thy father's house for thy mother has sorrowed for these many years, and I have softened the heart of thy father toward thee, that he shall make thee welcome, and I will protect these against the anger of the king, such that thou shalt be able to accomplish thy mission. And behold, Abraham, I am the Lord God of thy fathers Shem and Noah, and of all the righteous fathers back to Adam. Wherefore I will remain with thee and confirm upon thee all the blessings of thy fathers, and thou shalt stand at the head of a multitude. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. That was chapter 28. Anybody got any comments on anything before we pick this scripture and close out? What you think? Is it worth reading?
I believe it is. I've been trying to connect dots as you read, but
Right.
we got some dots to connect. I believe, you know,
Exactly.
I would love if you would help me with that, Brother Leonard, because yeah, we got you too, AJ. We got some dots to connect, because this was a lot of meat. I was on the edge of my seat, and I really feel, I was listening, and I really feel like it's valid. I really feel like it's valid, and
Right.
but you also, like you always, I've learned this from you, Brother Leonard. You also got to know when the lie is being told too.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
So yeah, so I would love to. Yeah, I'm gonna need some help connecting some dots when it comes to this. What is it called again? The Book of Abraham.
It's the writings of Abraham.
The writings of Abraham. This has been that was an interesting read. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, that's just half of it. That was just 29. I think it's like 60 some chapters. I just read it. I read it to right there. Maybe we can read some. We can chop it up some more later on, and then I can go to some more chapters. But if you got anybody by that computer?
No.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I end up
you got it?
Yes, sir. And Camo, I'll text it to you, bro. So whenever you get a chance, check it out. But yes, sir,
Yeah.
I found it, and it says it's 4 books, Brother Leonard.
Yeah, you got the PDF I'm reading from?
Right, yes, sir.
The yellow pages?
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay,
Look like a scroll.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Definitely. I didn't know. I thought you had. I thought it was a hard copy. I didn't know you was reading from a.
Oh no, I'm reading on PDF. I'm reading. I'm normally, but I got so many PDFs too, man. I printed them out because I don't know if I'm gonna come across the book or it's gonna be $300,000 for the book or what. So a lot of them, I just when I see the PDF, I print it out.
No. That's valid. That's valid.
At least I have something to go to recall from when I get into a certain conversation.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody want to pick a scripture so we can chop it up and then we'll close out. Let's see.
Unless you got one, Brother Leonard.
Nah, go ahead. What you got?
I was gonna go to Psalms 89.
Okay.
And because there was a verse in there I wanted you to highlight real quick for the good people. Sorry, let me get it. And yes, sir. And so this is in verses 27 through 28. And it says, well, I guess I read 26. He shall cry unto me, thou art my Father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. Also, I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. And Brother Leonard, I had read that because we're in verse 27 where it says higher than the kings of the earth. And I know Psalms 89 is talking about David, but while we were reading what's this? The writings of Abraham.
Right.
This position that David got, to me, is ultimately the Melchizedek
Oh yeah,
priesthood.
right. He picked it up from where Abraham had it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, Abraham had it. Then David, when David came on the scene, because they went into captivity in Babylon. I mean in Egypt. That's another sign to let you know that what the conversation in Genesis 15 ain't America. It's the land of Canaan.
Right. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So the priesthood was cut off with Abraham. Then it came back when they came back from Egypt, and David came on the scene. Like I see what I'm saying? When Balaam prophesied, remember when Balaam prophesied? He says he shall come, but not now.
Right. Yes, sir.
Right.
Numbers 24. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Ain't that something?
Right. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. Okay. So I'll see everybody tomorrow for our morning Shabbat class from 10 to 12 a.m. And then we got our evening Shabbat class that start at 6. And it normally lasts about an hour, a little over an hour. Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom to everybody.
Shalom.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, give me a minute. I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who the God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament and Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is, and the Godhead.